I would like to give you some help to get started on the graphing periodic trends activity. First, make sure you have the Google Sheet open. It should look like this. You'll notice there's 3 tabs at the bottom, one for atomic radius versus atomic number, one for ionization energy versus atomic number, one for boiling point versus atomic number. All you will have to do in order to make a graph with the Google Sheet is to enter data in these boxes that are indicated by the solid outline on each of the sheets. Where do you get this data? It's a great question. You want to open another browser window and you want to go to one of my favorite websites. It's called ptable.com. This is a terrific online periodic table. What we're going to do is use this Properties tab. So we want to click on the Properties tab. You'll see here in the middle there's a list of a bunch of properties of the elements on the periodic table. We're only going to worry about 3 of them. Radius right here, ionization right here, and boiling point right here. So you're going to start by selecting radius, and you'll notice now in the box, instead of the average atomic mass, that number below each name is the radius of the element in picometers. We are going to enter that data into the data table on the spreadsheet. We are only doing the first 18 elements, so it kind of works to maneuver your table like this. And then if you start with hydrogen, atomic number 1, you'll see that's 53. For atomic number 2, helium, I have to enter 31. Then for lithium, I have to enter 167. And I keep going all the way up until atomic number 18, or argon. So beryllium is 112. I think you get the point after doing those 4, and you can see, as I said, it's going to start making a graph for you. So you're going to get a graph, and then we got to interpret that graph. You'll see I color-coded it so that the elements that are in period 1 are the red data points, the elements in period 2 are the green data points, the elements in period 3 will be blue data points. I have a couple questions about each graph. When you finish, I want to know what the trend is. So what happens to the atomic radius as you move across the period? You could either look at the periodic table, or even better yet, look at the graph and see what happens across the period. So what happens for the red dots? What happens to the green dots? What happens to the blue dots? And then what happens to the atomic radius as you move down a group? For this one, you got to read the graph a little bit more specifically, or you could look on the periodic table. Just with the data I have here, hydrogen and lithium are both in group 1 on that periodic table. So there's hydrogen and there's lithium. I can see what's starting to happen to the radius as I go down a group. So you can interpret these graphs if you put a little thought into it. It's good ACT practice. Ugh. Now you're going to repeat that same process using the property of ionization energy, and once again on the 3rd tab using the property of boiling point. Remember, on ptable.com, all we got to do is make sure we have the properties tab selected, and then we can select ionization for the 2nd tab, and we're looking at the data below the names and entering those numbers for ionization energies as we go from 1 to 18. And then we're going to do the same thing for boiling point. I'm going to select boiling point, and now I'm going to write the numbers underneath the names for 1 to 18 and make a graph of boiling point versus atomic number. Each tab has a couple questions about the trend across the period and down a group. Make sure you answer those questions before submitting the assignment. Hopefully by completing these graphs, you see more of the potential of the periodic table. It is an extremely useful tool. When you notice that certain trends, certain properties on the periodic table always repeat themselves as you go across the period or down a group. It's powerful stuff.